right, we're starting off lesson 12.4, which is about multiplying binomials. What are binomials? They are two terms. Lesson 12.3 was multiplying one term into a parenthesis. Here we're going to have two terms into a parenthesis, so it's going to be two parentheses, each has two or three terms. I do not want you using any method in the textbook. Use only the distributive property. Let's see the first example. I have negative 2x plus 5 and I have 3x plus 1. What do? I take the first term, distribute it into the second parenthesis. I take the second term, I distribute it into the second parenthesis. I begin with this. Negative 2x times 3x, negative 2x times 1, plus 5 times 3x, plus 5 times 1. Did you see what I did? The first term is multiplied with the second parenthesis and the second term is multiplied with the second parenthesis. I start adding and subtract, first multiplying. Negative 2 times the 3 is a negative 6. An x and an x is an x to the second power. Minus 2x times 1 is a negative 2x. Plus 5 times 3x is a plus 15x. 5 times 1 is a plus 5. And here I look for my like terms. Where are my like terms? This is to the second power, this is an x, and this is an x. These are my like terms. Usually they're in the middle. Negative 2 plus 15, I have to add and subtract. Bring down negative 6x to the second. Negative 2 plus 15 is plus 13x. And I bring down my last term as it is. So the minute I multiply and I reach this, before I write my final answer, I look to see if I have any like terms. I add them or subtract them, and then I write my final answer. The second example, negative n plus 7, 11n plus 1. Take the first term, distribute it into the second. Take the second term, distribute it into the second parenthesis. Negative n times 11n. This is an 11n, and then a negative n times a 1, plus 7 times 11n, plus 7 times 1. Now, negative n times 11n is a negative 11n to the second. Negative n times 1 is a negative n. 7 times 11n is a plus 77n. 7 times 1 is a 7. And now I look for my like terms. Negative n plus 77, this is a 1. Negative 1 plus 77 is actually a 76n. Bring down negative 11n to the second power. Bring down my last term, and this is my final answer. The third example we have is 2a minus 3, 5a minus 6. Again, the first term, I multiply it into the second parenthesis. The second term, I multiply it into the second parenthesis. 2a times 5a plus 2a times a negative 6 minus 3 times 5a minus 3 times a negative 6. 2 times 5 is a 10. A and an a is an a to the second. 2 times a negative 6 is a negative 12a. Negative 3 times 5 is a negative 15a. Negative 3 times negative 6 is a plus 18. And now I look for my like terms. Negative 12a, negative 15. Similar signs. I add and I keep the sign. I bring down my first term as it is, and I bring down my last term as it is. Again, 2x plus 5, 6x plus 3. The first term, 1, 2. The second term, 1, 2. 2x times 6x plus 2x times 3 plus 5 times 6x plus 5 times 3. Now, 12x to the second. 2x times 3 is a plus 6x. Plus 5 times 6x is a 30x plus 15. Your like terms, 30 plus 6 is a 36x, plus bring down your last term, bring down your first term as it is, and put your plus sign. All right, again, this is distributed. this is distributed. M times M minus M times 2 minus 3 times M minus 3 times minus 2, which is M to the second minus M times 2 is minus 2M. Usually the number comes before the letter. Minus 3 times M, which is 3M. Minus 3 times minus 2 is a plus 6. And now my like terms, bring down the first term as it is. Minus 2 minus 3 is a negative 5M. Bring down your last term. The last example we have is a triangle. It's a right-angled triangle. And I have the height, or the height to be negative 3x minus 5 and the base to be 8x minus 1. And they tell me to find the area. What is the area of a triangle? Base times height. What do? I take the base, 8k minus 1, and I take negative 3k minus 5, and I start distributing this into the second parenthesis, this into the second parenthesis. So it is 8k times negative 3k plus 8k times negative 5 minus 1 times negative 3k minus 1 times negative 5. Now, 8 times a negative 3 is a negative 24. K and a k is a k to the second. 8k times a negative 5 is a negative 40k. Negative 1 times a negative 3 is a plus 3k. Negative 1 times a negative 5 is a plus 5. And now I look for my like terms. Negative 40 plus 3 is a negative 37k. Two different signs. I subtract and take the sign of the bigger number. Bring down my first term. Bring down my last term. So do not forget, every term in the first parenthesis is distributed into the second parenthesis. The second term is distributed into the second parenthesis. So usually you're going to have 4 terms in each, and then you're going to add or subtract your like terms. You're going to get 3 terms as an answer. Okay?